to the Spurs news. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, why does Tim Sherwood still have an opinion about anything? He didn't know how to manage the Spurs. He brought someone from the fans to help him coach while he was a manager. So I don't know what he's doing, giving an opinion about everything that the Spurs is facing. Second, today we're going to talk about the game predictions for tomorrow's games. West Brom are going to play, of course, Brighton, Burnley, and the Spurs. Of course, we're going to give you a little bit more about the Spurs game and give you a lineup prediction. Then finally, we're going to talk about a little of the Spurs news. Let's spur our way to glory. First and foremost, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please don't forget to share them with us. Anyways, let's get started. Tim Sherwood is giving an opinion, of course, about something that happens at Spurs all the time. And this time, it's nothing too special. Tim Sherwood is saying that Heung-min Son is underrated and England are very lucky to have Kane. And Harry Kane and Heung-min Son should be able to play in any team in the world. Of course, we know that. Who asked you for your opinion? We already know that. Everybody knows that. Even a person that has seen the Spurs game once in their life know that this is the case. Why are you sharing that? Come on. Jose Mourinho is saying, of course, the player that we are talking about, Heung-min Son, is underrated in the world and is not acceptable as he's supposed to be. And that's the problem. That's the problem in the world of football. So what do you think about that? So Ndombele did have one of his worst games against Burnley last year, if you remember. Now, if you don't, Mourinho did call him out and say, hey, Ndombele wasn't playing properly and I had to take him out because he had no midfield during that game. Now, what do you think about what Mourinho did last year, and did it propel Ndombele to react and be one of the best players he is today? As we had proposed, he would be a legend if he is to stay, and he did, and he is progressing. Now, tell me, do you think Ndombele is going to be a legend at the Spurs or not? Now, Ndombele did have a meeting with Daniel Levy to ask about his situation at the club last year after being dropped by Mourinho. And Levy said, just like Moussa Sissoko had a hard time when he first joined the Spurs, you will too, and you have to be fighting for your place. And Ndombele replied saying he is a fighter. Did he stick to his promise? Did he fight for his position? Yes, 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 yes. And he deserves every credit he gets. Yes, yes, yes. And Ndombele is one of my favorite players at the Spurs. Who's yours? Okay, one of the pundits are finally confirming that Milik could be and should be joining the Spurs in January. Do you agree? Do you think that's possible or not, given the fact that we have all these players that joined during the summer transfer? Alright, let's talk about Brighton versus West Brom. Now, West Brom are not doing so bad, but not doing phenomenal. I like Brighton, honestly, because they have a left back that's showing a lot of potential, and I think Brighton should be able to win the game against West Brom by a goal difference. We've seen a lot of boring games this weekend, to be honest, especially the derby, or I don't want to say derby, Chelsea versus Man U. It was a horrendous game, to be honest. I don't know what you thought. Let me know what you think about that. All right, Roguillon is saying that he is all Spurs now, but he is nothing without Real Madrid. And that's where he gained his talent, where he grew up, and he will always be grateful to Real Madrid. Do you think if an offer came for him to go back to Real Madrid, he would stay at the Spurs? Let me know what you think. At the Spurs News, we think that's impossible. He would go back. I mean, are you going to blame him? That's the kind of deal that we signed, and we are the ones to blame. But I think, on the other hand, if we didn't sign such a deal, we wouldn't win his signature. Now, our game, the Spurs versus Burnley. The lineup. For the lineup prediction, of course, we're going to talk about the player that's going to be playing between the posts. Of course, it's the Rooster, Hugo Lloris. And then in defense, we're going for 3 players in the center-back position, which are Ben Davies, Alderweireld in the center, and then, unfortunately, Sanchez. He sucks, but we don't have a choice. All right, and then two players that are going to be playing wingers and drop to the back, which are Roguillon, of course, left back and left back or left wing if you want to call him, and then right back, right wing, I think is going to be for Doherty. He could go for Serge Aurier, but Doherty is a safer bet. And then in the center of the park, I'm going for two holding midfielders, which are, maybe a lot of you could question my choices, but here we go. Ndombele, the legend, and then of course next to him, I'm looking for Moussa Sissoko, because we need to beef up in defense against a team like Burnley that just keep kicking the ball and try to hang it somewhere and header it down. Or so I think we need a lot of defensive midfielders that could hold on to the ball and run it quickly. Now that being said, up top I'm talking about, of course, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, and then on the right hand side, no one other than the Samba player Lucas Moura. Sorry for the mistake. And then for the prediction, I'm talking about probably a 2-goal difference for us, and 2-0 would be adequate and a realistic score for us, given the fact that we know how to score a lot of goals. But the leaky defense again. I mean, I put in about 5 defenders, give and take, that could go and come back. So if we can keep a clean sheet, if we don't, then it's going to be a 3-1 and it could turn out to be a tricky game. Thank you for watching Spurs News. Let's spur our way to glory. Have a good night. Spurs News, tracking down every detail. Transfer news, every gossip, every finished move. Game predictions,
analyzing and giving